Okay, now that we've talked about the same-sex issue, we have a lot of questions about the same party issue. So, a lot of the people in the audience are a little bit confused. Some people up here, they've read the bios and they're asking. Some were Republicans, then became Democrats, some became Democrats, and the Republicans are blanks. What are you? If you've changed parties, explain yourself a little bit. And also, if you live in the district, and if you don't, then how do you think that will affect your campaign?
Well, I'm really ostracized in my building because I'm a Republican, okay? And 99% of my building are Democrats, and the others are all liberal Democrats. So when I go out, I have to go out very quietly out of the garage. You know, so I've lived in Bayside 30 years, okay? So even when I go to the Bagel Club, it is dangerous. Because at the Bagel Club in Bay Terrace, it is left-wing Democrats. And when I talk at the table with some of my Gumbari chichas, forget about it. It is terrible. But it's not going to affect my campaign and everything. I believe in less spending. I believe in tax cuts, and I believe in bringing back jobs, and that's what I believe.
I've lived in the district almost my whole life. Grew up here, born and bred. The question was your history. I've been a Republican for 1 year. Why did I leave the Democratic Party? The Democratic Party of Jackson and Kennedy. I'm talking about Scoop Jackson and JFK, not Jesse Jackson and not Teddy Kennedy. The Democratic Party today has been hijacked by the far left. It has more in common today with the socialists or the Marxists than it does with the great party that used to be. The Republican Party is really where mainstream America is today. Conservatives outnumber liberals 2-to-1 in this country. And thank God the Republican Party is there and getting stronger by the day. And the Democratic Party someday may find themselves on the dustbin of history.
I've worked in this district for greater than 10 years. I've invested time, energy, and compassion at the St. Francis Hospital. I am a registered Democrat, which occurred recently. It is an affiliation, it's not an ideology. I am a conservative. I want to run in this district, given the demographics of this district, being a 70-30 Democrat-Republican. The best chance we have to win here is to have someone such as myself, an independent Democrat who is a conservative, who has devoted much time and has name recognition in the North Shore of Long Island through my work here and having lived here in the past, that I feel this is the best opportunity to wrestle this away from Gary Ackerman so he can't fly around in those fancy jets with Pelosi while he's taking money away from you and taking away part of your productivity every day when you go to work.
I've been a Republican, registered Republican for the last 5 years. Before that, I came from a liberal Democrat family tradition, which still remains so, much to my wife's dismay at family functions. Anyway, I believe in the values of republicanism. It's fiscal responsibility, limited government, individual liberty, and these values have, the Republicans today have gone off track. And we have to bring the Republican Party back to these values by Tea Party people getting involved in the Republican Party, becoming county committeemen, working for the political process in the Republican Party.
The lesser of two evils is still evil. Unfortunately, we have the Democratic Party that is Stalinist,
and we have the Republican Party, which is Trotskyite. Those are not two good choices. And so, even though I started out as a registered Republican, and in between I think I was a registered conservative, and now I've been a registered Republican, it's not what that's about. We have both parties that are fully owned subsidiaries of the multinational corporations and the big banks. And they are looking to turn this country into a feudal state where you will have only the rich at the top and everybody else will be a serf. You don't need to kill sheep to keep them in the herd. 100 years of socialist indoctrination in the schools has turned America to a bunch of historical constitutional amnesiacs. And I'm trying to remind Americans of what our foundations are.
Yeah.
Well, there was a vicious rumor circulating that I used to be a Democrat, but I assure you it's not true. I was a blank before becoming a Republican 2 years ago. And when I was campaigning in 2008, a lot of people saw me at a table at various functions, and they all came over to me and said, "Wow, I didn't know that there were any Republicans in Great Neck, but I'm glad you're here." There were also people who walked up and down in front of me. I remember one lady in particular saying, "I can't believe you're a Republican, I can't believe you're a Republican, I can't believe you're a Republican." So it's been interesting being a Republican and seeing the transformation over the last 2 years between a time when people looked at Republicans in a very negative light or a very surprised light that anybody would be a Republican, and today when we have all people here who realize that it's a party that is going in the right direction and can lead this country in the right direction if it sticks to its basic values and returns to the values of Reagan. I'm proud to be a Republican. I've lived in the district for 32 years and have the unique distinction of having lived in both the Queens portion of the district and the Nassau portion of the district. Thank you.
Okay.